Hello and welcome to the fourth wall. Don't laugh. You always laugh. Hello and welcome to because this isn't the fourth wall. Okay. Hello and welcome to No Laughing Matter,
I'm glad you remember the name of it in the end.
the internet's longest running, least regular podcast.
That is it. I am Jack.
I'm Dom.
It's been a few.
It's business as usual.
It is, yes. Those seconds of preparation coming into effect.
They really
there.
paid off. Yeah. As usual, just goes to show, don't bother investing in tech if the content isn't up to par. How are you?
I'm all right.
We're back in Bristol.
Yes, we are a different part of Bristol today.
It's really sunny.
It is, yeah. I'm glad that window's open, letting in the breeze.
Yes, so it's really sunny, quite warm. We are inside with the window open so that you can pick up the background atmosphere that we have here with us today. Answers on a postcard as to where we are. I want kind of string and photographs and people analyzing bits of something. Do you know, like in a sort of thriller and or horror movie, where they send a video from somewhere?
Where like the brick dust on the bottom of the victim's shoe can
yes.
narrow it down to one of three.
Absolutely.
Like, yeah, I know what you mean.
The winner will receive a mystery prize.
It could be brick dust.
Yeah, don't arrive where we are.
There's a lot of construction taking place. It's going to be brick dust.
Yes. But you, strangely, had something planned. And by planned, I mean,
Yes.
3 minutes before we started, you went, what are we going to talk about?
I believe the conversation went, do you have anything prepared? And you said no. And I said, well, let's have a little brainstorm. That didn't work out. So I noticed, at Dom's new place, which is very nice, which I enjoyed having a look around, admiring the bookcase, I noticed a book on there which, to be honest, I wouldn't expect to see for a man of Dom's calibre. I will assume it was a gift.
Yes.
I think it may have been a gift from me.
Okay.
Because
I think you're right, actually.
I think I bought you this. I've never read it before, and I scrubbed it from my memory. But anyway, the book, The Greatest Podcasting Tips in the World. Credit where it's due. It's by Malcolm Boyden.
Thank you, Malcolm Boyden.
Thank you, Malcolm.
I read it cover to cover as soon as maybe not as soon as you bought it for me, but I have read it cover to cover.
He's actually an award-winning BBC radio broadcaster.
Well, there we go. And that's why this has done so well.
I never knew that. Wow, okay. Well, stakes now.
Okay.
But anyway, I was having a flick through the greatest podcasting tips in the world. Now, to be fair to ourselves, we don't usually rely on such.
We don't rely on anything.
No, that's true.
We don't rely on anything.
Yeah.
And
the seats
we're all the
of
better
our
for
pants have qualified for their air miles. Let's put it that way.
totally.
But I was having a read through, and I had a look at one. It's a chapter titled "My Cheeky Top 10."
What's his name? Malcolm's Cheeky Top 10.
Malcolm's
Cheeky Top 10.
Cheeky
Whoa,
Top 10.
We did that really well.
We did, yes.
Nice.
Like professionals. So having a look through it, and a large crux of this is this is aimed at people who don't already have a long-running, successful, least regular podcast, and it's ideas to get them started. And it gives us top 10 suggestions.
Okay.
Now, for people looking to get into podcasting, I say have at it. Just find a friend with all the equipment who's not afraid to set it all up, and will invest in keeping that equipment up to date, and we'll do the editing for you, and just start podcasting. It is as easy as that in my experience.
That's your top tip.
That's my top tip. Get a friend who has everything and use that. But as professionals, we feel like...
Can I add a sidebar?
Please do.
Of something that's quite embarrassing.
Go for it.
When I was trying to pitch you on the idea of doing a podcast, and I'm trying to resist the urge for every one of our podcasts to be about podcasts, but an idea I had to pitch you on it was to that's not Foley provided. That's just actual ambience.
We're on scene.
Lots of people add in. They pay a lot of money to get royalty-free sound effects that they then put on a soundboard. Not us, and we are genuinely surprised by the sound effects because they happen as and when in real time.
There's a Hollywood audio director which is going to tear apart this podcast just to pluck out the sound effects.
So when I was trying to pitch you on the idea, I thought it might be good to record one alone and do it to you. So what I essentially
did. Do you still have the tape?
I wish it was on the. It was on the Do you remember the old computer we started with that was a office computer that an office had thrown out and I had taken?
That's right.
I'd done it on that with one of those gamer headset.
You've come so far.
Kind of microphones. I wish I had that. I think it was a lot of me starting it and going, So, Jack, do you remember when? What have you?
It's kind of like a video love letter by the sounds of it.
And I was going to put it on a cassette so you could play it in your car to make it even more.
Were you going to put it on a
Sound
boombox
like-
and hold it above your head?
Sound like a love letter. Oh, okay, there we go.
Excellent. Well, it's a shame that's been lost to time.
Yeah,
If you can recreate it through a series of puppets,
yeah, that'd be great.
that'd be at my level. But anyway, I had a look at this cheeky top 10. I think as professionals, as the Aim Low Productions top-rated podcast duo,
Are we the top rated?
well, podcast duo, we're the only duo.
Okay, yes. Yeah.
okay.
Boom. And the award goes to the nominees are.
I mean, the clue's in the title, Aim Low.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, so there's top 10. I figure as professionals, these are ideas for podcasts. We can knock them all out in one podcast, so that's what we're going to do today.
Okay.
So we're going to run through them, dedicate a bit of time to each one.
So hold on. Sorry.
You have questions
I'm
before I finished explaining,
constantly
but please do.
Okay, no, you continue.
No,
And
no,
if my question still stands, I will ask you at the end.
I will answer your question as it comes up.
My cheeky chop chen,
Your cheeky top 10.
that thing, is it topics to do your top 10 of, or is it his top 10 topics to talk about?
That was a lot of T's in that sentence.
So is it, why?
You should buy a pop filter.
Yeah, anyway,
A
okay.
little podcasting joke there because we're professionals.
Yeah.
All right, well, so we're going to run through. So the first one is number 1, the pod quiz. The pod quiz.
Okay,
And a little description saying some gibberish there. And a pod quiz. So the example they use is Who's the Sneezer Geezer, a show where members of the public could win big prizes for guessing the identity of your mystery celebrity sneezers. It's the first time I've actually read that, and I'm kind of thinking he's aiming pretty high.
Yeah.
These people who want to start podcasting, get celebrities to sneeze and offer prizes to the public. But all right,
Maybe you find celebrity sneezes out there. That's what I would do.
We'll skip the sneezing. Okay, so a couple of minutes then. Here we are. A lot of fun with the pod quiz. Mystery voices, sounds, or even the Secret Santa. Get creative.
Secret Santa.
We are creatives. You have a degree in creativity.
How does that work? Secret Santa.
I don't know. It just says, or even the Secret Santa at Christmas, doing a Secret Santa podcast.
We could do a Secret Santa one, but it would be pretty obvious where our gifts came from, because as you pointed out, we are a duo.
But that is not the pod quiz. We need to. All right, the pod quiz. Come on, somebody who may be thinking of doing a pod quiz, let's give them a little taste of what it could be like. So.
I don't think we want competition.
No, come on, seat the pants now.
Okay.
All right. Go. Ask a question.
I ask you a question.
Why not? There's no structure.
Okay. So my question to you,
Yep.
Jack Del Vecchio,
Yes.
who currently lives in the Southbridge.
In where?
Oh, I'm going to give you a Jeopardy style question,
Fantastic.
which is I'm going to give you the answer and you give me the question.
Okay, excellent. Let's do that.
Because my degree in creativity told me to subvert whatever I had to do.
This could go well. Let's do it.
Okay. Is it I? Did they say I? How does-
Who's they and what's up?
No, I don't know if that was this year. This is terrible. This is dead air. This is the opposite of what we want.
Help save us, Malcolm Boyden.
Malcolm Boyden. No, hold on. Okay, so I've got to think of an interesting fact.
If you like.
What is happening?
The pod quiz is the difficult one. The rest of them are
Okay.
a bit more structured. So if we
Okay,
can,
so
we
hold
can
on.
get through.
If we can
As a general message, if you can get through this, it gets a lot smoother.
Okay. Which is louder, a baby or a pneumatic drill?
At the moment or generally?
In general, which is louder? What do they call the ones they use in the street that?
Like a hammer drill.
A hammer
No,
drill.
not a hammer drill.
You know the ones I mean.
I know the one you mean.
Or a baby crying.
Well, I don't want to be a dick about this. But
Okay.
Babies crying is a different volume. When they start crying, they're actually quite quiet because they screw their face up, and the drill could be on or off. It depends what it's drilling into.
Okay.
Are we talking about the actual noise of it impacting into the ground, or are we talking about the engine noise of it being on? Because the engine itself is actually the noise of the drill. If you were drilling into concrete, it'd be noisy if you're drilling into a muddy field. And then also, how old is the baby? And also, what are the acoustics of the room like? So, sorry, I
Correct.
got excited.
They are both as loud as each other, just so you know.
Fantastic. So I think we can tick off the pod quiz.
I tried to make a sort of win-win scenario for you, and somehow somehow you talked yourself out of getting a correct answer, which I think in a way is what Malcolm had in mind
Right. So
when you wrote the book.
So okay, professional opinion pod quiz.
We've
Good
also
concept,
done
bad
quizzes
concept.
before. We've done
Yeah,
quizzes,
but-
and quizzes is kind of our go-to. Whenever I don't have anything planned, we do some kind of quiz.
So good concept, bad concept.
I think approved.
Approved.
Quizzes work.
Fantastic. Okay, we're going on to number 2, the Godcast. The Godcast.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I know. Change gears on this one.
Are you going to ask me to define God? Because I struggle to think of a quiz question. Just
Okay, so a little blurb here. The newspapers will love this. The world's first batch of Godcasters. That little statement, the newspapers will love this. I'm not sure. It's like an in-joke that I don't understand. But anyway. So we could do a religious message or Stars on Sunday. The brightest media-friendly ministers will do extremely well from a weekly Godcast, all singing, all dancing.
So hold on. So I don't know if this is. Is this an idea for us to do, or is this his idea as to what would be a good podcast?
These are his ideas what would be a good podcast.
Because neither of us are God-fearing fellows, and it sounds like we need a. Do I have to go and get a priest?
What's your favourite pantheon of gods? Like the Romans had some pretty decent gods. The Greeks had some, it's kind of a bit of cool history there.
Oh, good
Had the
question.
Viking gods. I mean, you kind of watch. I don't
Well-
want to bring it back to Marvel, but Thor and people are more familiar with that.
So they've kind of gone mainstream now, so it's not cool to like.
Yeah.
They've sold out. In
The
a
Greek
way.
gods were pretty cool.
I'd
Like the
say so.
The
I'd say
Minotaurs
so.
and that, and
But then-
Hercules, Zeus.
Yeah, I'd go with Greek gods.
Yeah.
Were my favorite, I think.
What were the Roman gods? They were kind of weird.
They're the ones
they
the
had
planets are
Mars,
made
didn't
after.
they?
Yeah.
So I'd Greek gods.
Greek gods.
Yep, sold. Fantastic. So for the Godcast,
I'd say Godcast is an idea not approved.
it's not
Greek gods approved.
Greek gods. Oh, I forgot Egyptian gods.
I'd still go with Greek gods. I, think,
I
over
don't know.
Egyptian
I'm gonna
gods.
no.
You go with Egyptian gods.
I'm gonna go with Egyptian gods.
Name 3.
Okay, Ra, Horus, and Isis.
Those are the 3 I would have picked. Just-
We're on the same
God,
page.
I'm full of the questions now.
I know. Yeah,
Name
look,
3
you should
Greek
be holding
gods.
the book.
Yeah.
Okay, Godcast.
Okay.
Bad concept, but gods are.
We made it work.
We made it work.
Yeah. If it
Professional.
wasn't for us.
Okay, so number 3, the Lovecast.
The Lovecast.
Okay, what do we have to do?
Hello. Yeah, he says hello. This one is just for the adults. Perk up your sex life on podcast.
Oh God, I have recommended
Right,
this
have you
to
got that
friends and
mic
family.
holder? Because I'm going to need my hands for this one.
So what does it? What should we talk about?
It's what about dating tips? How to successfully romance the man or woman of your dreams? A reading from source
Okay,
here.
yeah, we can give dating tips.
And finally, after the honeymoon, your baby and toddler podcast tips.
Oh, so
No,
we've
yeah,
already done that.
yeah.
We covered that ground.
Dating tips.
We've never given dating tips.
Well, let's have some dating tips because I understand the landscape has changed.
Okay, since from when to when?
Probably 8 years ago.
That's when you officially stopped dating.
Well, no, because I'd better say 10.
Okay, yeah. Legally,
Let's be safe and say 11 years.
that's a nice round number.
Yes.
Okay, so dating tips.
Well, I don't know. It's been 11 years.
Okay, I have limited experience of dating apps.
Okay.
However, I can't think of anybody I know that is now in a successful long-term relationship via a dating app.
So don't use a dating app.
Is what I would say.
Okay.
Would you concur?
I don't know. I'm asking you.
Have you ever used a dating app?
Do you mean like an actual dating app like Match or eHarmony, or the dating apps are available, or ones like Tinder? And I don't actually think there are any other that does anything like that, other than Grindr, but that's more niche.
Niche how?
Well, it's not. It's
What do you mean niche?
probably an odd choice of words.
What do you think
so-
Grindr is?
Well, it's people looking for their favourite food blenders, and
Nice save.
thank you. What do you mean save?
Buzz in. What is
Yep.
Grindr? So both. I don't know of anyone who's also found long-term love. Do you know someone?
I do know someone. I know somebody who got married, and are expecting a baby, and they met through one of the dating sites, as in Match or eHarmony, not the other one.
Maybe they. I don't have much. I did try and find a +1 for a wedding via match.
That's your
.com.
problem. I don't think they're designed for plus ones. I think they're designed for people who may eventually want to get married themselves.
And that ended up being more about self-discovery because I had to rate myself on terms of like a slider. So it would give you like two. I mean, this was years and years ago, but it would give you like two kind of semi-complimentary. Oh no, was it that? Yeah. So sometimes it would be like, are you stylish or sexy?
One, not the other. Yeah.
And then you had to kind of put yourself on a sliding scale, which was ridiculous. And then you had to like kind of rate yourself.
A
As
long
well.
time ago, I did.
You've done the
I was
same
looking-
thing.
I was looking at something, and it was how much would you agree with the following statement? Like, not all agree. And you put it in, and it's got things like, everyone go like kind, funny. How would your friends describe you? Kind, funny, caring. And then it goes things like angry and depressing and sad. And I'm like, whoa, they really want to capture the whole gamut of emotion. And you kind of think to yourself, well, what if you what if you tweak the sliders somewhat? See what kind of, imagine if you said you were a furious, depressive, violent, and then you could see who it would match you with, and then to stay the F away from those people in the future. I think we've just cracked love
would
and
not
dating there.
recommend. Would not recommend
You're
dating
not a fan
apps.
of Lovecast? What? I was saying about the Lovecast concept.
I think it's okay. I just think we're
People
not
more
the-
qualified than I
Yeah.
maybe should tackle that.
Hey, listen. Be polite and be clean. Those are my 2 days. Make sure you are physically clean and be polite.
Be polite and clean.
The rest is up to you.
Okay. That's pretty. I think you've done it. That's pretty good advice. Okay. All right. Excellent. I'll give a Lovecast a thumbs up. I think good potential there.
It's like a, I don't know,
It's not in-
B minus.
It's not in the aim-low wheelhouse,
Yeah,
is it?
no.
No. Okay. Well, number 4, the Pubcast. Pubcast.
Okay.
A great way to create a unique sound for your podcast and make money is by getting creative. Base your show in a good old-fashioned boozer. That's a public house in England or a cafe bar on the continent. So basically,
Cafe bar.
live cast from a pub. That's basically the concept is just being in a pub. It's
I
not
mean-
telling you what to say. It's just
Be in a pub.
be in a pub, talk to and about the pub regulars.
But do you think we would get away with all this equipment?
I'm more worried about the kind of pubs round by me.
Right, okay.
I don't think we'd walk out with the same equipment we
Yeah.
walked in with.
Okay. Well, hey, listen.
Okay, no, come on. All right,
We'll give it a go.
let's give it a go.
We'll give it a go.
Okay. So pubs. There's a nice pub by me.
Is there?
I haven't been in it yet.
I tell you what, we'll put a pin in that. I don't want to say the next one because that puts a lot of pressure on us.
Oh, it does.
But within the next 12 months, we will podcast from a pub. How's that?
Okay, but will it be a pub round here,
Hey,
gesturing to the local area? or-
if you have a pub that you think we'd be great in,
It's like an
Answers on a
Irish
postcard.
themed pub, but it has a lot of live music as well.
I don't know if that's something we want to contend with, but we could.
We could.
So,
I don't want to say ideas that I may potentially have to follow up on. so-
Okay.
all right, we'll put
to be confirmed.
Pubcast to be confirmed.
TBC.
Okay. All right, number 5, the Fatcast. Fatcast. So, having a quick scan through, I didn't even
You didn't even read this before.
Didn't even read this. Okay.
This is all fresh.
Here comes a radical new weekly dieting regime, courtesy of the pod. We know the crux of it, don't we? All right. About losing weight.
Oh,
Or it
okay.
could- that's
Do you have
what-
any good tips to lose weight?
Yeah, OMAD. That's what I've been doing for the last few months.
What's OMAD?
1 meal a day.
Oh, I tell you what, I've also been. Hey, finish your OMAD story. Sorry.
That
Finish
was,
it.
That was the end.
Finish it.
No,
1 meal a day.
yeah, that was the end of the story. I
And
was
then I'm
waiting for
assuming
follow-on
it's quite a
questions.
balanced meal. You can't just have Domino's for the 1 meal.
No, sometimes I just have like a steak and a couple eggs.
Nice. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
And it's working for you? Are you losing weight?
Yeah, I was 21 stone start of the year. I'm about 17 now.
Hey,
Yeah,
nice.
not to timestamp it, it's about 8 months.
Okay. I mean, we are not doctors, so we don't recommend anything.
I fully recommend and endorse doing OMAD.
Years and years ago,
Yeah.
Soylent.
Oh, I remember you used to have that, didn't you?
No, but I now have Huel. I've tried Huel.
Oh, I keep getting adverts for that on Facebook.
Hey, it's a thing.
It's like when I post a photo and then
Yeah.
all of a sudden I start getting these targeted ads for weight loss, and I think that's pretty cruel, Zuck.
Huel seems good though. Huel seems. I mean, other services are available.
Did we not have bagels earlier though?
We did have bagels. I'm allowed to have other stuff. I'm not only allowed to live off Huel now.
I thought that was the idea. I thought you could only have like just that.
No, no. It's like I find it quite good at work because it's quite a quick way to have a full meal, but without having to actually have a full meal. So I can just drink it down.
It does sound like something a corporate shill would say.
Well, there we go.
So okay, well I think Fitcast then. So basically, just
But
eat
there's-
once a day.
There's no
and
money to be made from your one meal a day, whereas Huel could come on board.
The thing is, if you're only eating once a day, you save a lot of money.
What if you're only eating one Huel a day, which isn't something I'm sure the people of Huel would recommend.
No, I could imagine them sat in their office doing the shaking hand and the chopping arm motion as well. I'd give it a go, I guess. Not a doctor, but I'd
Hey.
say it's probably fine.
So I actually have some tips.
I'll be keen to hear them.
Don't worry about what the scale says. Don't get fixated on the number, because there are unhealthy ways to lose weight as much as there are healthy ones. Exercise. Don't snack.
Okay.
Feel better. Try and worry about how you're feeling rather than what the scale says.
That's very good, wholesome advice. I don't fully agree with all of it.
This is the wholesome cast.
Hey, that might be one later on. I haven't
Okay,
read through
sorry,
this
sorry.
yet. But, okay, yeah, you know what, Fat Cat? I think, that gets a big thumbs up for me. I think
We actually
we might have to
found a lot
convert
talk
to a
about.
Fat Cast. That's what we do now.
Nice. Well, you can rename all the all the branding.
Actually, I think the idea it has on here is actually you give people a diet.
Oh,
Fatcast could easily be sponsored by one of the many global companies that supply dieting products.
I think that's the end of the sentence. It
We
could
sh-
be
we
sponsored
should
by
get
one of
sponsored
the,
by.
a global company, one of the many global companies.
Oh, okay.
We're available, Malcolm. If you want to reach out,
I don't think Malcolm does like.
you don't think he will sponsor us specifically?
Well, I don't know. We're not doing a great job with his book.
We
But
we don't need a sponsor.
anyway, Fatcast number 5. Big thumbs up.
Yeah, go on. Is that only number 5?
Yeah. What do you mean only number 5? Oh, I'm great for number 6. The Mumcast. The Mumcast. This is going to be difficult. A show made by mothers, focusing entirely on motherhood. Go.
Okay. A show made by mothers, focusing entirely on motherhood. Okay, hold on. Have you? I can probably do it with my phone. So, what we really need is a bell, and I think you should have to talk about motherhood for 1 minute without deviating from motherhood. And if you deviate, oh no, have you seen the program Just a Minute? Oh, I've seen it. The radio program Just a Minute. Have you listened to that before?
I know of it, yeah.
Okay, so
No repetitions,
yeah,
fillers.
and we're going to do that on the topic of motherhood. I'm just going to get up a minute timer.
Where did this come from? Mr. I have no ideas, and all of a sudden, when something tricky comes along, he's like, yeah, I've got this whole
Okay,
concept.
hold on. I'm going to
mapped
give you
out."
your phone. You're going to get a timer. And this is what we're going to do. Do you want to go first or second?
I don't want to go anywhere, but
Okay.
let's say I'll go second. Show me how it's done.
Okay, so motherhood, 60 seconds. What are the rules? Repetition,
You're making this up as you go along. You tell me.
deviation,
Oh,
hesitation.
yep.
Okay. So it looks like a calculator.
That's my alarm clock.
Okay,
Hang
sorry.
on.
So you're going to say stop and stop the timer when you think I've repeated, hesitated, or deviated from the topic of motherhood.
Okay. Go.
Motherhood is made up of many things, including being a mother. That's a pause. Okay, how far do I do?
10.23 seconds.
Okay, give me the timer.
And that's speaking like a robot.
Okay. Yeah, that was a. I'll admit that was a weak start.
That was a very
As
weak start.
soon as you started looking at the timer, a cold sweat ran down my forehead. Okay, so you're on the topic of motherhood, and your time starts now.
Far be it for me, a male, to talk about motherhood being primarily a female occupation, but I'll do my best to understand the mindset of giving birth to a child and raising them to such an age that you feel that they can go out into the world by themselves, involving not only making sure that they are cared for physically, but also emotionally, spiritually, financially, any which way that a child may need raising. That's pretty much all I got.
Okay. That was pretty good.
That was pretty. I just
That was
blacked
pretty good.
out. I went into
Okay,
a blur.
So you got to 33 seconds 83 and you gave up.
I had to give up.
Which, listen,
Look, I don't want to sit here and expound on being an expert on mother because that just feels like a
no,
minefield.
no. We didn't say we were experts. We just said we had to talk about the topic without deviating from it.
Okay.
And you are at an advantage of that you have children.
Well, I'm not a
Is that
mother
an
though.
adva-
It's not
okay,
a massive
sorry.
advantage.
I shouldn't have excuses before. How do we win this game?
I don't know.
Are we no longer playing?
I think we've lost.
Okay.
I mean, you know what?
Come on, I
The
want
idea-
another crack at it. It's
Fine,
whoever,
you can-
it's whoever could speak at the end of the minute.
Okay. That seems like a strange concept, but let's do it. Okay.
So motherhood. Okay.
Haven't started yet.
No, that's fine. I'm just thinking.
You're just preparing yourself. Okay, go.
Motherhood is something I know very little about, but I have been very fortunate to know many mothers. Some mothers have been related to me, for example, my mother, and she had a mother, and my father also had a mother, and all of these people were very.
Repetition. Come on.
But
People having mothers.
yeah, but
All right, fine. Carry on. Go.
surely I can say, and all of these people that have been a. Oh, no,
that's
I'm
very
right.
close.
I think that was a slight sabotage on your part.
Well, you started repeating by saying, "Oh, they are mothers."
But
and
I'm
they
allowed
have
the word
mothers.
mother because it's in motherhood. So you can
Well-
say motherhood is. But motherhood is one word.
I just continued it on from mine. We got to 53 seconds. So I think you had an extra 20 seconds on there.
Right. Okay. So you're gonna try to talk for motherhood for the last
Okay.
7 seconds. Are you ready? Go.
Okay, the medical definition of motherhood is actually giving birth to a child through your woman. Oh no, I'm
Deviation?
going. Yeah, I'm going down
Oh.
a trick.
Oh no.
Why did I go down that road? And I'm half a second away.
Okay. Hold
Oh,
on. Just tell me when.
Okay. Go.
Motherhood.
Nailed it.
And the unlikely winner, the greatest comeback of all time.
Why did I go down the medical?
But hold on.
I was
There's
going
a
to explain the birds and the bees.
there's a lesson in here. There's a lesson in here.
What is that lesson?
That is, my friend, every time you just gave up. I didn't call you on anything. You just gave up. Had you not gone, oh, that's all I've got, you would have won.
Well, it took quite a lot to get those full 30 seconds out.
But you didn't, and I won.
Right, so Mumcast.
Approved.
Mm,
And
declined.
I think the idea would be even better if you actually were a mother.
Yes,
Controversially.
okay, right. Well, number 7. We've only got a few left. Number 7 is the Fitcast. Fitcast.
Okay. I felt more comfortable with the fat cast.
A keep fit or yoga classes by podcast.
Have you ever yogaed?
No, but okay, we'll do a very brief yoga.
Okay.
So, anybody listening, this is the yoga cast. So, yoga lessons via podcast. Again, not a doctor, but I think if you're sitting down, stand up. It's probably a good start.
Yeah, if you're listening to this, then stand up now.
If you're already standing up, then maybe lie down.
Yep, all the way. In semi-supine. That is where you're led down, but your feet are flat on the floor, so your knees are up.
Like a bridge.
Yes.
So you lie down on your front with your
No,
feet
you
flat on
lie
the
on your
floor?
back. You
'Cause
lie
that
on your
sounds
back.
painful.
You lie on your back.
Right. Okay. All right. So if you're sat down, stand up. Maybe reach up high to the sky as well.
Okay.
But if you're standing up and you were lying down,
So sorry.
then lift your hips to kind of make a bridge. As long as you're on.
Slight side note. Have you ever done yoga before? I return to the original question.
No.
No. Okay. Okay. Because I do like I think your version of yoga could sell, which is if you're sat down, stood up. It's more of a sort of hokey cokey version. You do.
My yoga is my hokey cokey.
You do some yogi and you turn around.
Okay.
That's
hang on.
what it's all about.
People will be taking this seriously. So if you were stood up, if you were sat down and now stood up
Okay.
and reaching up, maybe bring your arms down because they're probably a bit sore and sit back down again. The people who are sitting down, then lying down semi-supine, lifted their hips. You can probably stand up and reach up to the sky, and the people who are now sat down can have a lie down.
Okay.
and don't forget to breathe.
Don't forget to breathe.
Okay.
That could be a rule for all of the podcasts for motherhood. Don't forget to breathe.
To be fair, it's pretty general advice.
Yeah,
so.
don't forget to breathe. For dieting, don't forget to breathe.
I think that Fitcast is pretty. I tell you what, I feel out of breath. I feel like I've done some good work there.
Do you have any fitness tips? Your top 3 fitness tips. Go.
Jesus, don't say go. We've just come off the timer challenge. work within your limits.
Nice.
But don't be afraid to push your limits as well, because that's how you get better. And stabbing pains in the chest, deviating down the left arm mean it's time to stop.
That's only 2 tips?
Well, no, work within your limits, then push your limits, and then stop if you have stabbing pains in your chest that deviate down your left arm.
You were better at yoga, surprisingly.
Well, look at me, of course.
Nice.
Jesus, asking me for fitness tips. I'm going to ask you for being tall tips. I'm sorry, I didn't mean that.
That was pretty harsh.
That was pretty harsh.
People don't know how tall I am.
Let's have a look.
I sound tall.
Oh, Jesus. I don't want to sound like a... Well, number 9 will shock you when we get there. But anyway,
Okay.
that was 7, the Fitcast.
Okay.
Thumbs up. You know what? I think...
Yeah, I think if you knew what you were talking about.
Yeah, if you are still in a position to give a thumbs up after that mad yoga I put you...
Yeah.
Yeah, I enjoyed that.
Yeah, why not?
Number 8, the Cookcast. Cookcast.
Yeah. What's the last meal you cooked?
Cookcast can bring any recipe bursting into life. You'll almost be able to smell the apple turnover. I put a pizza in the oven last night.
What was the last thing? What did we have last night?
What do you mean?
We didn't have pizza. What did we eat? What day was yesterday?
What day is it?
It's Saturday today. It was
Friday yesterday.
Oh, we had fast food yesterday.
That's all right. I had a pizza.
Because it was Friday. Friday fast food day.
Yeah, they always say you got to fast on Friday.
That's not for the Fitcast.
No, of course we're on Cookcast.
That's not for this advice.
Where's the borderline between actually cooking and then just prepare? So I put a pizza in the oven last night. It's not cooking.
Not cooking. No.
But if I got that pizza and put a bit of extra cheese on top,
I'd say not cooking, but I'm not.
so it's kind of a borderline somewhere, isn't there?
If you bought the base, put the sauce on and the toppings, I'd say that's cooking barely. I'd say that's in the realms of cooking.
Okay, so for example, earlier we had bagels.
Okay, yeah,
So you had to chop some lettuce.
but we didn't.
It's not cooking in the sense of anything
No.
was cooked, but do you see what I mean? It's like at some point there's a difference between putting a pizza in the oven, putting chicken nuggets and chips in the oven. They say isn't cooking,
Making
but putting
cereal.
a chicken breast.
Cereal in the morning. Is that cooking? Are you making soup? Cold soup?
Okay, so putting chicken and chips, like breaded chicken and chips in the oven on a tray.
I'd say that's cooking.
Some people say that's not really preparing a meal. It's not cooking in the sense of healthy. But if you did a plain chicken breast and then put some veg like in the microwave or something, people say, oh yeah, that's like a proper home cooked meal or something.
It's tricky.
Yeah.
I'm concerned that we went deeper on this one than we did the Godcast.
Yeah, I know.
It's clear to see where our thoughts naturally go. I would say chicken nuggets and chips in the oven is cooking.
Yeah.
I
Suppose
would
we're not speaking to nutrition here, are
I
we?
would never recommend that for our Fitcast that's going to take off.
No, and I think the Mumcast as well would
Also
echo
have
our
opinions.
sentiments,
Yeah, absolutely. But you would still say, so for example, with my secretary who lives here as well, if we were arguing over who cooked dinner last night, the person who put chicken nuggets and chips in the oven would be the person that cooked last night.
Okay. I like that's your opinion.
And I would say the bagels were made, not cooked.
I
So
have
we-
a
we
proposal.
Okay.
We should field this when we do our pubcast.
Yes.
We should ask the
What's
fine pub
cooking.
owner.
That's a really good.
Yeah, talk about.
I like that.
Because they'll have, or at least around by me, like black pudding Scotch eggs.
Nice.
You don't have those in Bristol. We do have pasties. Which
We
are
have
very
Scotch
nice.
eggs.
Do
I
you have
haven't
black
seen
pudding?
a lot of black pudding around here.
Come around my neck of the woods. Cookcast, thumbs up, thumbs down.
Cookcast. Thumbs up.
Yeah,
It's got legs. And you know what? I would have thought that would have been a thumbs down because how would you convey that?
Could you almost taste the apple turnover? That's what the book said.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, apparently.
We didn't talk about apple.
All right,
Is
number
apple
9.
turnover cooking?
Number 9's the Buffcast. Buffcast.
Sounds spookily similar to number 7.
It's not. It's kind of like a little. All right. So the way it's written here, it's kind of like a little diatribe on podcasts in a relatively short space of time. There'll be a podcast for every single group or hobby. We're all different. We have our own passions. Very soon, every single one. So we talk about magazines in a magazine rack. Everyone will have its own podcast.
Well, he's spot on. I don't know when
Every
was this book written.
subject you can. It was 2007, I believe.
He was pretty spot on. He was
Every
on-
subject you could possibly imagine will soon be explored by an expert on podcast, even a broadcast exclusively for those who like to shed their clothing. Naturists rejoice. The buff cast, it's on its way.
Oh,
It uses buff in the sense of
buff naked.
being in the buff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When was the last time you were naked?
This morning,
Me too.
yes.
I slept naked last night.
Did you?
I did.
Were you not cold?
No, I wasn't cold.
I mean, I'll.
I was indoors
Well, that's true, and I suppose modern houses have heating.
under a duvet.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
But going.
All right, would you go to a naturist camp?
See, I am. Yes, but only for the story of talking to naturists. I don't know if I'd like being. Because I think you're allowed to have a towel, aren't you?
I don't know. We'll have to look into
I
it.
think, and I don't know this, but that you're allowed to have a towel for modesty. So I would go, probably wear my towel all the time, but I'd love to interview people at a nudist camp. We'd love to be sponsored by a nudist camp.
I would go to one,
Yeah.
but I wouldn't go to one just because it's a nudist camp. I
Okay.
don't feel a deep desire just to have to be naked. But I would go to one if there were good facilities there, perhaps. If it was in a nice location, it wouldn't put me off.
Good facilities.
Well, yeah, if it's just like a field with tents, then that's a bit rubbish. But
Although a friend of mine did say he used to go wild camping a lot. And while wild camping, he would apparently just sometimes be naked with like camping boots on, which...
that's kind of sounds a lot like public indecency.
Okay, yeah, I suppose.
But I'd go to like a nudist camp and not a nudist beach.
Yes.
Sand is rough and coarse and
Yes.
irritating.
I
and gets
completely agree with
everywhere.
you. A nudist beach is not somewhere I'd go, but a nudist like resort potentially.
Like like Butlins with two T's.
Butlins. Copyright.
Yeah, that's mine. You can't have that.
Is butlins.com taken? If it's not, we're going to buy up that domain.
We will Google it.
Okay.
We'll get all those misspellings.
Maybe butlins.co.uk. Anyway, yeah.
Buffcast, I'm going to give a thumbs down. I don't think there's much to it. I think we've basically done it.
We've not done it, as we've
Well,
established.
no, we haven't, but
We've exhausted it quite quickly.
we have. Yeah, I think we've ticked that. It's thumbs down from me.
Thumbs down.
No one's kink shame, but not my podcast. And number 10 is the charity cast. Charity cast. This is where we think about all the good we're going to do.
Okay. But read some of the description. What does it say? The charity. cast
Earlier
is
on
good
this
for?
chapter, we discussed the possibility of making money through donations, but it's got donations in quotation marks. Like again, it's like
Donations, yeah.
From your new family of listeners, remember the pubcast and buy us a drink idea. I didn't read that. Apparently, there was an idea on the pubcast about buy us a drink. I didn't read it.
Okay.
So, and we'll never find out because I'm lose my place.
Well,
if
I'll
I go
cut back.
Always going forward.
Our journey, yeah. Only forwards.
More and more podcasters are deciding to go down the donations route rather than ask for a fixed fee for their listeners to download it. You can charge for these.
What? You just hear feet running.
A pair of film buffs, for example, have created their Cinecast.
Is he talking about us?
I don't know. If you go to their website, which I will not read out,
Okay.
you will see is spelled incorrectly, that there is a PayPal button for donations from listeners.
How is C spelled?
S-E.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
PayPal. Do we have a PayPal donation thing?
No, I don't think we do.
Should
we?
Well, according to this, according to the greatest podcasting tips in the world,
I mean,
it's called the Charity Cast, but a lot of this blurb is actually about how to get money off listeners.
okay. Go on.
Oh, charities could also use this method for getting the messages and appeals across and collecting donations. So it's basically 80% you should have a PayPal button, and then, oh yes, maybe charities too.
PayPal button. I feel uncomfortable asking an audience for money in exchange for nothing.
Oh my God, there's more here as well.
What, more tips?
No more cast ideas.
Oh, really?
I'll put a pin in that for later though.
Yeah, we'll state that. But I think that was successful. Well done.
Yes.
Good job, my
You know
friend.
what? We've proved that the top 10 cast ideas of Malcolm Boyden are absolutely no problem to...
Are super solid.
Yeah.
Don't let the fact that they're over 10 years old
Some
bother
podcasts
you.
are timeless. Apart
Nice.
from all the ones where we've actually put a date or a time or event, or mentioned somebody passing away, which timestamps them pretty badly.
Well, that was fun.
That was pretty good.
I enjoyed that.
Yep. So we'll be back with 20 more.
20 more ideas of how to make this work.
Yes. Thank you for tuning into our identity crisis. We're going to sit in front of a mirror now. Who am I?
Fantastic. Well, if you would like to help us out, we don't have a PayPal donate button. But you know what you can do to help us out, Jack? What could they do?
They can tell us how to get a PayPal button on our site. 'Cause
Answers,
I'm very interested in that.
answers on a postcard.
Okay.
But
Sent to both our new flats.
why don't you tell a friend?
Who?
Why don't you tell a friend about this podcast?
If you enjoyed this podcast and you want to hear more of it, then listen to some more and then tell your friends so they can listen to it.
Or just put it on silently in the background?
Yeah. Or just play it every now and then. Just maybe set up some sort of macro that will click and let it run through and then start it all over again. That'd be helpful.
Nice.
Or we have a Twitter. Do we still have a Twitter?
We? Is that the word I have? We do. You'll be able to find it. So, yeah.
It'll all be on the website.
Thank you for listening.
Catch you on the next one.
You're really appreciated.
Whoever you are.
Bye.
Bye-bye.